Hello, family. Welcome to Gem Talks. This is Marcel, aka Gem, and thank you for taking the time to check out my podcast. Gem Talks is all about taking everyday life issues and challenges and just looking at it from a more empowering and motivating way. So stick around, guys. Keep checking in, and let's keep talking about it. Hello, family. Welcome back to another episode of Gem Talks. Thank you for taking the time to check us out on another episode. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about men of courage. Where are you, men of courage? I am calling out to you because unfortunately, we live in a time where men is not taking their God-given position. You were called to be the head. You were called to lead. You were called to be the champion of your family. And unfortunately, you have abandoned your post. So many men do not know who they are and what their position is. And so we are having chaos in our society. If the men have abandoned their throne, how can our family thrive? How can our kids get the leadership that they need? And unfortunately, too many of that is happening. I have experienced that firsthand, and it's something that God has put in my heart because He placed men in the leadership role. He placed men to lead their family. He said we have to subdue the land and take authority over it. And unfortunately, because so many men are not taking the leadership role, not taking the authority that God has given them seriously, unfortunately, we have all manner of chaos in society. And we have a society now that is basically dismissing men. And so because of that, men is no longer standing up and being the leadership that they're supposed to be. God placed Adam in the garden. He created him in the garden and He gave him authority and He gave him the role of leadership, of head, of king. And unfortunately, we are diminishing that role. We cannot do it. Men, you think of yourself as a leader. Automatically, you think, oh, I'm the man, I'm supposed to be a leader. And you're correct. You are correct. But where are you leading to? If you are the leader, where are you leading us to? You have to have a goal. And if you are a leader, who are you submitted to? In order for you to be able to lead your family, in order to be able to lead your children, you need to be submitted to your Godhead. Without your Godhead, you are not able to lead effectively. Since the beginning, men have been hiding. They have been hiding. Since the fall of man, before they walked with Jesus, before sin entered, man was walking with Christ in the garden and there was no problem. And then the sin came and men started hiding. And today, men, you are still hiding. We need you to come out from your hiding place. We need you to take authority. We need you to stand up and be the king of your home. Be the man that your children can look up to. Because without you, society is doomed. Without you, women are standing up. Women are educating themselves. Women are advancing. But that's not the leadership that God placed in society. God placed men to be the head. And I know that I feel like we're living in almost an upside down world. You know, everything that God create is being turned around. And because of that, we have a society that is not functioning right. We think that we can change the order that God create, and yet we can be productive and we can live healthy and prosperous life. And unfortunately, I don't know about you guys, but that's not what's happening. That is not what is happening. We have a major problem in society. So this is like a clarion call to men. Stand up and be the leaders that God has called you to be. The position that God has given you, man has not given it to you. It is your God-given authority. And without you, we cannot survive and thrive the way that we are supposed to. Without you, our children cannot prosper and have the leadership that they need. I know for me as a woman, I need a strong man leading. Where are you leading me to? It is so important. So many of you do not know how to lead. So many of you are unsubmitted. You are unsubmitted. You think that you know what you need to do, and it's causing chaos in our family. So many of you are abandoning the throne. For me, with my husband leaving after 30 years, that was very sobering. That was very sobering because I was so committed to that relationship and to that marriage, and I was committed to him. But unfortunately, he did not know his position, and he did not know how to lead. And, he didn't want any counsel. He didn't want to submit to authority. Men, you cannot lead effectively in the way that you are supposed to lead if you're not willing to submit to your Godhead first, and you're not willing to submit to some type of leadership or counsel in your life. And unfortunately, that is what we're having. We're having just a chaotic society because nobody seemed to know their role. Man, again, I am calling you. It is something that God has placed on my heart. A lot of time we are talking about the women, empowering women, and that is great. We need to empower women. But I think the men are being forgotten, and we are forgetting what role you play. And without you, we do not have a sound society. So in order for us to get back to God's original plan, we have to get back to men taking the role seriously that God has given them. It is a cry from my heart. It is something that God has just put in me. And I have 2 sons, and I want them to see them stand up and be the men that God created them to be. And unfortunately, they don't have that. They didn't have that example in their dad. And so now, who are they looking to? So men, rise up. Stand up. Where are you men of courage? Who is going to stand up? Take your role seriously. Take authority over this earth. Take authority over your family. You don't need anybody's permission. You are who God created you to be. When you learn to lead, then we women, it is easier for us to follow. A lot of the times you say that, women, it's women's rights, and, women are not willing to submit. It's easier for a woman to submit to a man who has direction and who know where he's going, and he himself is submitted to God, because that is what we are ultimately attracted to. God created us to be your helpmate. In order for us to submit, and I'm not saying that you have to do everything right in order for us to submit, because that is not what God said. But in order for us to submit easier, we need to see that example in you. We need to see you leading in love. We need to see that you are submitted to God. We need to see that you are willing to, submit to counsel. And so for me, that's definitely a burden that I had on my heart, because again, carrying out my marriage, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you know you want good, but that person keep resisting, and they're leaning to their own understanding. And it's always about feelings and emotions instead of the leadership, authority that God has given them. And so guys, please stand up, take your position, your God-given position. It is so important. We cannot do this without you. Our families need you. Our community needs you. Our nation needs you. Stand up and be the man that God has called you to be. We can't do it without you. Okay? This is Jem. Until next time, let's keep talking about it.